No one at the 2026 Grammys was ready for what happened next. The lights came up, the music started, and Justin Bieber walked onto the stage wearing almost nothing. No jacket, no shirt, just satin boxers, socks, and a guitar, putting his tattoos, his physique, and his confidence fully on display. Within seconds, the room froze. Social media exploded, and viewers at home all seemed to ask the same question at once. Did that really just happen? According to People, Bieber stripped down for his performance of Yukon, a track nominated for Best R&B Performance, marking one of the most visually shocking Grammy moments in recent memory. And what made it hit even harder was the timing. Justin Bieber hadn't performed at the Grammys since 2022, disappearing from the awards stage for years, while fans speculated about his future, his health, and his place in the industry. So when he finally returned, it wasn't subtle, it wasn't safe, and it definitely wasn't forgettable. Because this didn't feel like a random fashion choice or a playful stunt. It felt deliberate, calculated, almost confrontational. After years of staying quiet, Justin didn't ease his way back into the spotlight, he commanded it. And that's where the real question begins. Was this just a bold performance meant to grab attention? Or was Justin Bieber trying to say something about himself, his career, and what comes next? And once you look closer at the timing, the song choice, and what happened earlier that night, the answer might surprise you. You're watching CelebPulse, where we break down the moments everyone's talking about and the stories behind them. I'm Ava Sinclair, and today we're looking at a Grammys moment that instantly divided fans, dominated social media, and left one big question hanging in the air. The moment Justin Bieber stepped into the spotlight, everything else at the Grammys faded into the background. There was no dramatic build-up, no slow reveal. He simply appeared, shirtless, wearing purple satin boxers and black socks, holding a guitar that matched the color of his outfit. Under the bright stage lights, his tattoos were impossible to miss, his posture calm but unapologetic. It was raw, stripped down, almost unsettling in how quiet the room suddenly became. According to People, Justin was performing Yukon, a track nominated for Best R&B Performance, and the visual contrast couldn't have been stronger. This was a Grammy stage known for luxury, precision, and polish, and here was one of the world's biggest pop stars rejecting all of it in real time. You could feel the hesitation in the crowd. Some people leaned forward, others looked stunned, and within seconds, phones were out, clips were being uploaded, and reactions were pouring in online. On X and Reddit, fans called it fearless, uncomfortable, and iconic all at once. Others admitted they didn't know how to process what they were watching, but they couldn't look away. That's what made the moment powerful. It wasn't loud, it wasn't flashy, it was confrontational in its simplicity. And while plenty of Grammy performances aimed to shock, this one felt different, because it didn't rely on dancers, effects, or chaos. It relied on presence. But as shocking as the outfit was, this performance wasn't just about grabbing attention. Because once you look at why Justin chose this song, why he returned now, and what he had been silent about for years, it becomes clear this moment was building toward something much bigger. What made this moment land so hard wasn't just what Justin wore, it was how different this felt from everything he'd done on the Grammy stage before. In past appearances, Justin Bieber played by the rules. Clean looks, carefully styled outfits, polished pop star energy. Even in 2022, the last time he appeared at the Grammys, he leaned into oversized fashion and controlled performances, blending into the spectacle rather than challenging it, according to People. That's why this return felt jarring. This wasn't the Justin fans were used to seeing at award shows. There was no attempt to soften the image or make it more palatable, no layers to hide behind. The performance felt exposed, almost vulnerable, and that's exactly why people reacted so strongly. Fans online picked up on that immediately. Many pointed out that this didn't feel like a look at me moment. It felt more like a statement of comfort, as if Justin no longer felt the need to impress, explain, or protect himself. Others said the performance felt heavier because of how long he'd been gone and how much speculation filled that silence. And that absence matters. When an artist disappears quietly and then returns loudly, people pay closer attention. Every detail feels intentional. Every choice feels loaded with meaning. That's why this performance sparked debate instead of applause alone. It invited interpretation. And once you consider when Justin chose to come back, the timing makes this moment even more impossible to ignore. According to People, Justin Bieber returned to the 2026 Grammys with 4 major nominations: Album of the Year for Swag, Best Pop Vocal Album for Swag, Best Pop Solo Performance for Daisies, and Best R&B Performance for Yukon. For an artist who once dominated award seasons, that kind of presence after years away wasn't guaranteed. It had to be earned. That's what made this moment feel rare. Justin didn't slowly reintroduce himself through interviews or promotional tours. He didn't test the waters with a safe performance. He came back all at once on the industry's biggest stage with multiple nominations and a performance that refused to blend in. That's not just participation, that's re-entry. For many fans, it felt symbolic. The Grammys had been a place where Justin grew up in public, where his image shifted over time, and where his highs and lows were closely watched. Walking back onto that stage after years of uncertainty wasn't just about recognition, it was about reclaiming space. And that's why this didn't feel like another awards show moment. It felt like a line being drawn, a quiet way of saying he was still here, still relevant, and still doing things on his own terms. But what made the contrast even more striking was what happened earlier that same night. Because before the shirtless performance, before the shock and the speculation, the world saw a completely different version of Justin Bieber. What made the performance even more striking was what happened earlier that same night. Before Justin Bieber shocked the world on stage, he and Hailey Bieber stepped onto the Grammy red carpet looking like the definition of controlled elegance. According to People, the couple arrived in coordinated black ensembles that felt polished, expensive, and perfectly calculated for an awards show moment. Justin wore an oversized black Balenciaga suit paired with sleek black dress shoes, keeping his look minimal but intentional. The accessories were subtle but impossible to ignore. A nose ring and a statement necklace by Lorraine Schwartz, featuring a massive diamond centerpiece that quietly signaled status without screaming for attention. Hailey matched that energy effortlessly. She wore a sheer, strapless black gown by Alea, finished with a soft train and pointed black heels. Her jewelry mirrored Justin's, also custom Lorraine Schwartz diamonds, while her hair was pulled into a slick bun, makeup clean and understated. It was classic, refined, almost untouchable. And that's exactly why the contrast mattered. Just hours after presenting themselves as one of the most polished couples in the room, Justin walked onto the Grammy stage stripped of everything. No luxury, no layers, no protection. The shift from controlled elegance to raw exposure was impossible to miss. Fans noticed it immediately, because this wasn't just a fashion flip. It felt symbolic, almost intentional. As if Justin wanted to show both versions of himself in one night and let people decide which one was real. Almost immediately, the internet did what it always does. It started guessing. On X, Reddit, and fashion forums, fans began dissecting every detail of Justin Bieber's night, from the satin boxers to the stripped-down staging. Some theories suggested the look symbolized freedom, a rejection of industry expectations after years of pressure. Others believed it was a calculated fashion statement meant to contrast with the hyper-polished red carpet image he and Hailey presented earlier. A few fans went even further, speculating that the performance was a response to years of scrutiny about his career pauses, public silence, and personal struggles. Posts described it as reclaiming control or owning vulnerability. But it's important to be clear about where things stand. Here's what's confirmed. According to People, Justin performed Yukon shirtless at the 2026 Grammys. The song was nominated for Best R&B Performance, and he arrived earlier that night in a coordinated, high-fashion look with Hailey. What's speculation is everything beyond that, the symbolism, the intent, and the deeper meaning fans are attaching to it. Justin hasn't publicly explained the outfit choice or what message, if any, he wanted to send. The theories circulating online are interpretations, not statements from him or his team. Still, the volume of discussion says something on its own. When fans argue this intensely over a single performance, it usually means there's more beneath the surface than styling alone. People weren't just reacting to what they saw. They were reacting to what they felt it represented. But while everyone focused on the outfit, the theories, and the symbolism, there's another layer to this night that most people completely overlooked. Award shows have always been more than trophies. For artists, they're one of the few moments where the entire industry and millions of viewers at home are watching at the exact same time. That's why so many musicians use these stages not just to perform, but to reintroduce themselves. We've seen it happen before. Artists disappear for a while, let speculation build, and then return with a moment that feels intentionally different. Not louder, not bigger, just sharper. A way of resetting how they're seen without spelling it out. Viewed through that lens, Justin Bieber's choices start to make more sense. The simplicity of the look, the absence of spectacle, the decision to let his body, his voice, and the song carry the moment. None of it confirms a specific message, but it fits a familiar pattern where artists quietly take back control of their image by doing less, not more. According to People, Justin hasn't explained the meaning behind the performance, and that silence matters. When artists don't clarify, they leave space for interpretation, and sometimes that space is the point. Instead of telling the audience who he is now, Justin may have been inviting them to watch and decide for themselves. Not the polished red carpet version, not the headlines, just the presence. It doesn't mean this was a declaration. It doesn't mean it was a reinvention, but it does suggest intention. And once you start looking at this moment as part of a larger pattern, not a one-off stunt, it raises a much bigger question. If this wasn't just about the Grammys, what does it say about where Justin Bieber goes next? That's all for today's story on CelebPulse. I'm Ava Sinclair. Thanks for watching, take care, and we'll meet again in the next video.